Hello. Okay, so we're live. It's working. Let's just wait 1 second to make sure that everything's good to go on YouTube. And yes, there we go. Excellent. All right. So, how are you? Hola. Bien. ¿Qué tal? Bien. Bien. Excelente. Today is our final Spanish class because tomorrow we're going to learn about a different language, which is Korean, because that's what people voted for over on Instagram. So that's what we're going to be learning about tomorrow. And so today's our final Spanish class for the time being. So we're going to review a lot of what we've done this week so far to give you a chance to go over things, because that's something that really helps with language learning, is if you have the chance to check in and make sure that you do know stuff, that rather than just learn things once and leave it forever and ever. So that's what we'll be doing today. And for the next 2 weeks, we won't have any classes because it's Easter holidays. So at least in the UK, it will be the Easter holidays if you were at school. So don't worry, not expecting you to come for those 2 weeks. But then we'll see, maybe after that we'll do some more. So if you want more, let me know, ask your parents to email me, etc. And yeah, we'll see how things go from there. But for today, this is our final Spanish class. So let me share my screen with you and let's get ready to review everything that we've done so far. Okay, so we'll make the screen big. There we go. Right. So do you remember way back at the beginning of the week on Monday, we talked about el arcoiris, rainbow, because you've probably seen a lot of rainbows lately in people's windows to help people smile, right? These rainbows, these arcoiris. And do you remember we learned the colors? So I'm going to show you and I want to see if you can remember. If you remember the words, shout out the words, okay? You ready? Do you remember? ¿Recuerdas lo que es? Rojo, rojo. Muy bien, rojo. Ahora, ¿qué es eso? Naranja, naranja. Muy bien. Y ahora, amarillo. Sí, amarillo, amarillo. Muy bien. Y ahora, ¿qué es eso? ¿Qué es eso entonces? Eso es rojo, naranja, amarillo. Ajá. Verde, verde. Muy bien, excelente. Y ahora, rojo, naranja, amarillo, verde y azul. Azul. Are you saying them out loud as well? Muy bien. Y finalmente, ¿qué es eso? Violeta, violeta. Rojo, naranja, amarillo, verde, azul, violeta. And that was the first thing we learned back on Monday, you remember? And so we were then able to say how me gusta, me gusta. Can you remember me gusta? I like, me gusta. So what color do you like? What color do you like? Tell me out loud. I'll see if I can hear. Okay. What color do you like? Me gusta rojo. Me gusta naranja. Me gusta amarillo. Me gusta verde. Me gusta azul. Me gusta violeta. Aha. So we can say all of those things, all those different colors, and we can talk about if we like them or not. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Muy bien. Me gusta naranja, me gusta rojo, me gusta amarillo, me gusta violeta, me gusta verde, me gusta azul. Perfecto, perfecto. Muy bien. Okay, let's put those together one more time for colors. Me gusta rojo, me gusta rojo. Me gusta naranja. Me gusta naranja. The next one, I want you to say very, very slowly. You ready? Me gusta amarillo. Muy bien. Me gusta amarillo. And the next one, we're going to go rápido. rápido, fast. You ready? Me gusta verde. Did you do it faster than me? Did you? I'm impressed. Well done. Me gusta verde. The next one, we're going to go very quietly. Quietly. You ready? Me gusta azul. Me gusta azul. I can't even hear you. Me gusta azul. Can't even hear myself. Me gusta azul. Me gusta azul. I like blue. Finally, let's do this one loud. Me gusta violeta. Me gusta violeta. Muy bien, muy bien. Okay, so we can talk about colors. We can say what colors we like. And then we learn how to make bigger sentences. So let's do some bigger sentences. And do you remember how we also learned that we can't just say all of these things because some of them don't make sense. So we could say, for example, puedo, I can, puedo comer, I can eat la pizza, la pizza. Puedo comer la pizza. I can eat pizza. That sentence makes sense, right? Can we say, puedo comer la televisión? Puedo comer la televisión. Es extraño, ¿no? No, claro que no. We can't say that. Claro que no. That doesn't make sense. I can eat the television. No, that's not a good sentence. So what do we say instead? It's the bit in the middle that doesn't work there, isn't it? If we want to talk about the television, we need to change that bit in the middle, that verb. So let's think. Puedo ver la televisión. Sí, claro que sí. Muy bien. Of course, that's the one that works. I can watch TV. Muy bien. What about if we say, I'm going to say another one and you tell me, I'll listen out. See if I can hear you through the internets. You tell me if it's right or wrong, this sentence, if it makes sense or if it sounds a bit silly. Okay. Quiero escuchar. So, quiero escuchar el chocolate. Quiero escuchar el chocolate. No, claro que no. Claro que no. I want to listen to chocolate. No, that one doesn't work, does it? That one does not work. That sounds a bit weird. Let's try another one. You tell me if this makes sense. Me gusta, I like, me gusta escuchar música. Me gusta escuchar música. Does that one make sense? Sí, claro que sí. Me gusta escuchar música. I like to listen to music. Perfecto. Muy bien. Excelente. Okay, let's see what else we've learned so far this week. Let's have a little look at the next page. Yes. We learned about numbers. Do you remember the numbers in Español? Let's see if we can go through them together. 0, 1, dos. Now see if I can get my fingers right this time. Dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete, ocho, nueve, 10, 10. Counted all the way up to 10. Well done. Muy bien. Bien hecho. Let's see. So then we put our numbers together with our colors and made a big sentence altogether. Do you remember this from, I think, Tuesday? We did this one. So we had this new word at the beginning as well. Can you remember what that one meant? I. I means there is or there are. Remember that one? I. Because it looks like we should say it like, hey, but we don't say the sound at the beginning for hey, we just say I, right? So we say, hay tres cosas naranjas. Hay tres cosas naranjas. There are 3 Orange things. There are 3 orange things. We can say, hay 2 cosas verdes. Hay 2 cosas verdes. Let me move my mouse. You can see, hay 2 cosas verdes. Muy bien. We can say, hay 5 cosas azules. Hay 5 cosas azules. And as I'm saying this, I want you to be thinking, oh yeah, there is 5 cosas azules, blue things. Muy bien. You're putting it together in your head as I'm saying these sentences. Let's see another one. In fact, you make one up. You see if you can either say one out loud or write one down if you can write quickly. Yeah, see if you can write it or say one out loud of your own. And we're putting them together with I and then a number and then something on the end. A red thing, an orange thing, a yellow thing. Remember that word cosa means thing. It's a really good word, isn't it, to learn cosa. So see if you can do one on your own for a second. Okay. How did you do? Muy bien. Muy bien, claro que sí. Okay, I'm going to do another one. Hay 8 cosas amarillas. There are 8 cosas amarillas, yellow things. There we go. Well done, well done. Okay, we've learned a lot this week, haven't we? We can do some good long sentences, and this one, whew, even longer. So we're adding in our numbers to our little starter phrases that start a good sentence, and we learned some fruits as well at the end there. Do you remember we learned these words for a few different fruits? So let's see what we can do here. We can say, we had this new one at the bottom, me gustaría. Me gustaría. Do you remember that one? Me gustaría. Me gustaría. I would like. Me gustaría. I would like. Now we're saying comer. So we're sticking with comer because we're talking about eating. We're not going to say, I would like to ver, to see manzanas. We're not saying, I would like, me gustaría, to escuchar plátanos. I would like to listen to bananas. No, 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 no. We're talking about comer. So we're sticking with comer. And we're going to say, puedo. So over here, puedo comer 5 piñas. Puedo comer 5 piñas. I can eat 5 pineapples. Ooh, show off. Remember, these were the show off sentences, aren't they? I can eat 10 watermelons. Puedo comer 10 sandías. Oh, loco, crazy. But we can also say, quiero, 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 I want. Quiero comer 4 fresas. Quiero comer 4 fresas. I want to eat 4 strawberries. Did you catch that one? Let's try another one. Me gusta comer 7 uvas. Me gusta comer 7 uvas. Boop, 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 boop. Grapes. I like to eat 7 grapes. Again, very specific. I want to see if I say one in English, can you say it back to me in Spanish? You ready? So let's see. If I say quiero, no wait, that's Spanish. I'm going to say it in English. You tell me in Spanish. I can eat 2 watermelons. I can eat 2 watermelons. Can you say that one? Okay, muy bien. Puedo comer 2 sandías. Puedo comer 2 sandías. Perfecto. Muy bien. Very impressed with all of this that we've learnt and that you can do now in Espanol. Aha. Then, yesterday then, we learned how to say something new. So over here, we know a few words for fruits, manzana, apple, plátano, banana, piña, pineapple, fresa, strawberry, sandía, watermelon, uvas, grapes. And if we go back a couple more, we know a couple more words for food. La pizza, el chocolate, right? Pizza and chocolate. So, back to here, we can describe those foods now. We can say what we think of different foods. Remember we did this yesterday. So we can say es, it is, es, it is, describing all your favorite foods. It is rico. Rico, es rico, es rico. It's delicious, it's tasty. Es delicioso. Es delicioso. Es delicioso. It's delicious. Es dulce. Es dulce. It's sweet. It's sweet. Es dulce. And finalmente, es asqueroso. Es asqueroso. It's horrible. Es rico. Es delicioso. Es dulce. Es asqueroso. It's disgusting. Muy bien. So we can describe all of those foods now. We learned how to do this. And remember, we saw some foods from Spanish-speaking countries, a few different foods there, didn't we? We saw some chipa. They were from Paraguay. We saw some paella from Spain. We saw some chile from lots of different countries, not just Spanish-speaking countries as well. And well, nowadays, lots of people use chili. We saw pan dulce for sweet breads and cakes and all of that lovely stuff. So you can describe now which ones you think look rico, delicioso, dulce, or asqueroso. You can pick what you think. You can do that. And then we also learned about the, wait a minute. Let me just check something. Oh. Oop. There we go. Okay. It's all good. Right. Okay, back to where we were. Then we also learnt about Chupa Chups, and we learnt that they were created by Salvador Dali. You remember that? So we learnt how to describe other things, not just food, other things with some new words. So we looked at some paintings and I said, ¿Qué piensas? And you told me if you think es interesante. Ha, 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 es cómico. If you think it's, es extraño. Or if you think it's, es hermoso. ¿Qué piensas? Tell me, what do you think about this painting? Say it out loud, what you think. And pick one of these words to describe it. Okay, done? We're in? Excelente. Let's look at another one. We had this one as well yesterday. Do you remember? The lobster phone. ¿Qué piensas? Es interesante. Es cómico. Es extraño. O es hermoso. ¿Qué piensas? How would you describe this one? And one more. Do you remember this was a film that Dali made with Walt Disney? Destino. And what do you think of this? It looks very different to the other things, doesn't it? What do you think? Es interesante. Es cómico. Es extraño. O es hermoso. Es hermoso. ¿Qué piensas? What do you think? Okay. So to wrap up our final Spanish lesson then, I want to look a little bit about, to learn a little bit about who speaks Spanish. Where do people speak Spanish? How many people? So I've thought about some questions that you might have about this, starting with how many people speak Spanish? Well, 437 million people plus, because there's native speakers, there's people that speak Spanish as well as other languages, there's people like me and you who are learning Spanish, lots of people around the world, 437 million plus. So that's a lot of people that when you learn Spanish, you'll be able to talk with, you'll be able to communicate with, which I think is pretty cool, right? What about this question? Maybe you're thinking, where do people speak Spanish? We've talked a little bit about Spain. Maybe this is the one that you know already. We've learned a bit about Mexico and that part of the world, didn't we? Guatemala, Belize, Honduras, El Salvador, where we learned a little bit about the Mayans, right? Well, there's more than that. There's a lot of other places. You've got all down here in South America, from Argentina and Chile, all the way up to Colombia and Venezuela. This country here is Brazil, and they speak Portuguese. So that's why it's quite a big gap. But there's a lot of countries here that do speak Spanish. Going all the way up here from Panama, all the way up to Mexico. There's countries in the Caribbean. Cuba is one. And a lot of the United States have many, many Spanish speakers as well. In fact, there's, I think people say about 50% of people in the US are estimated that they can speak some Spanish, which is a lot of people. So that's very, very cool. And then over here, we've got Spain. We've got a lot of people speak Spanish in France, in parts of Asia. Look, in the Philippines, Spanish used to be spoken a lot more, not so much now. That's why it's a different color blue. There's less people there. Parts of Morocco at the top, there's a couple of places, but again, not so much. It's the dark blue places where there's lots, right? And you can ignore the bit on Antarctica. That's just because it's connected to Chile. So maybe the next question you're thinking is this: will Spanish speakers understand me? So if I speak a little bit of Spanish and mostly lots of English, a Spanish speaker is going to understand me. Well, maybe, because you might meet a Spanish speaker who speaks English, right? There are plenty of Spanish people, as we learned with the Mayan stuff that we did earlier in the week. Plenty of Spanish speakers that speak other languages, including English sometimes, but not always. You can't always rely on everyone else to speak English. And that's why it's so good to learn another language like Spanish. So will Spanish speakers understand me? Maybe when you speak English, but not always. And to show you, here's some signs that I found on Google. So will Spanish speakers understand me? Well, think about this. This is what the world would look like around you if you were in a Spanish speaking country, right? So there's a little bit there. You see in the middle on this sign, this is from Somewhere Bilingual, where it says no bañarse, no swimming. So we've got it in English and in Spanish. And you can tell because there's a visual, there's a graphic there. So you'd be able to understand if you were in that place, the sign means no swimming. But some of these signs, maybe this one here, is a bit trickier to guess. That's a sign on the right here for a door, for a shop. It says open, and then it says the times and the days that they're open. Over here, this one says danger, danger, right? So there's a lot of things that are important that maybe you'd think it's a red sign that looks dangerous because we know these things, but if you can't read, then it makes it a lot more difficult sometimes to understand. So think about it from that perspective. And that's what it's like if, you know, a Spanish speaker in the other direction talking to you, if you don't understand. So it's good to learn languages that you can build more of a connection, and then maybe you'll have this understanding. Okay, another question. And we've just touched upon all the different places that speak Spanish. So let's think about this. Are all Spanish speakers and places the same? Nope, nope, big nope. So we've seen how many places were dark blue on that map, and that means they speak lots of Spanish when they're dark blue on that map. They're not all the same places. They're very, very different. So we're going to look at 3 different examples, just one from Spain, because that's where Spanish, the language, started, one from Mexico, which is like the top of Latin America, and one from Paraguay, which is quite near the bottom in South America. So we'll look at 3 examples. So, and you'll see hopefully how different they are. So Spain then, some famous places in Spain. Here's where Spain is on the map, circled with the big pink circle, right? So it's next to France, Portugal, all of those places. And in Spain, there's lots and lots of famous places to visit, but you might have heard of Madrid, Barcelona, Seville. Maybe you've heard these names. Maybe you've been to some of these places even. And there's a few pictures to show you. That top one's Madrid, and then we've got Barcelona there, and then Seville at the bottom as well. Some famous food and drink then from Spain. Paella. We've talked about this already when we were describing food. It's a very, very famous Spanish dish. Ham. Spain is very, very famous for their ham. You see at the bottom these huge legs of ham, right? And they've all been dried and they're ready to eat. And then over here, gazpacho, which is like in very simple terms, cold tomato soup. But that does not do it justice. It's much, much more tasty than that sounds. If I said to you, would you like some cold soup? You might think, oh, no, es asqueroso. But actually, gazpacho, because Spain is a very hot country, especially in the summer, gazpacho is a very, very rico thing to have. It's very, very delicioso, very, very rico, because it's just cools you down and it's really tasty. Tomatoes and lots of vegetables. Es rico, delicioso. And some famous things that maybe you think of when you think of Spain, flamenco dancing. So flamenco dancing, there's basically an emoji that looks like this, right? Which is pretty cool. Flamenco dancing is very, very famous, and it comes from the south of Spain, where there's like guitars and there's lots of clapping and there's singing and there's dancing, and it's just wonderful. And if you ever get the chance to see flamenco, you'll think, oh, wow, es interesante, es hermoso. It's incredible. Don Quixote. So Don Quixote is one of the most famous books in the world. And maybe if you're watching this and you're quite young, maybe you've not heard of Don Quixote. I hadn't heard of Don Quixote until I was probably mid-teenager, right? But Don Quixote, very, very famous, sold so many books, one of the best-selling books of all time. This story is very, very important to Spain. And beaches as well. So maybe, especially if you're watching this from Europe, you may have been to Spain and you've been to the beach. You've been on holiday to Spain and you've gone to the beach. It's very famous for beaches in Europe. Okay, let's go somewhere else on our travels. Whoosh, let's go to Mexico. So Mexico, another country where they speak Spanish. And let's think, it's a very, very big country actually, just below the United States. So the border between the US between the United States and between Mexico. And then you've got Guatemala and Belize on the south border, just down there. Now, Mexico, there's lots and lots of famous places, but 3 that I had to pick out. We've got Mexico City, which is in the middle. You can see just here on the map, Mexico City. We've got lots of Aztec and Mayan sites. Now, we learned a bit about the Mayans earlier this week, but there's another group of people who were, a civilization would be the right word, very, very big, further up in Mexico, and they were the Aztecs. So there's loads of like ancient sites and buildings. Like you see this temple, this looks like a pyramid right at the bottom. This is an ancient Mayan site. There's loads of places like that to visit, Aztec and Mayan sites. The Copper Canyon, so there's lots of natural things as well that are just es hermoso, right? The Copper Canyon, look at that picture there, absolutely beautiful, isn't it? It's amazing. That's much further north in Mexico. Famous food and drink, delicioso. So there's a lot of Mexican food that's very famous, and a lot of that actually is what's called Tex-Mex. So it comes from kind of Mexican and Texas. You see the state of Texas here, it borders Mexico, so there's a lot that comes from this part that's like influenced by Mexico. But for things that are very, very traditionally Mexican. We've got tamales. Tamales are this one here, this picture here, where you've got lots of like corn, you know, like a sweet corn. It's that, but like flour, right? Ground up really, really small with meat and things in the middle. And it's wrapped up in this leaf. And it's very, very handy because you can then just take off the wrapper and it's a natural packet for your food, which is very cool. And they're really tasty as well. I would say tamales, muy rico, muy rico, delicioso. Tortillas as well. Delicioso, delicioso. You can go into a supermarket in Mexico and buy a huge stack of fresh tortillas, just like I can go to a supermarket in England and buy a fresh loaf of bread. In Mexico, fresh tortillas. Delicioso, perfecto. And horchata. Horchata is a drink. It's made from like rice and it's got some cinnamon spices and it's all very delicious and lovely, lovely, lovely. Es dulce, it's sweet, and es rico, otra vez. Es muy, muy delicioso. And here, famous things from Mexico. So some things. And again, you'll see how different all of this stuff is from Spain. So this is just answering that question. Are these places the same, right? The answer? No. Muy, muy diferente. Very, very different. Muy, muy diferente. So Mexico is famous for chocolate. This part of the world, the Aztecs and the Mayans, this is where chocolate comes from and it grows. And you might not recognize this as chocolate, right? This picture here, look at that. That is cacao. When it grows on a tree in a little pod like this, and it's got these beans, poof, and it's delicioso, right? Amazing. So you've got that, and then that gets ground down and made into the chocolate that we know and we think of when we think of chocolate. Mexico is almost famous, also famous for mariachi music, where there's lots of guitars and there's a band and they're dressed wonderfully. You see these people, how they're dressed in that picture? Muy, muy bien. There's so much music in Mexico. Mariachi music is one of the most famous types. Then I think these are beautiful. Papel picado. And you can try making this at home. It would be quite difficult, so you might need to ask a parent to help. But it's paper that's got these beautiful patterns and they hang in celebrations like this. I think they're just, hermoso, hermoso, right? And our final country, so a very different place. We've gone from Spain to Mexico, all the way down to Paraguay. And Paraguay is in the middle of South America. Now, Paraguay isn't as famous as Spain and Mexico. We don't know. We generally don't know as many things from when we've like never been, never heard of it, right? But there's a lot there to love. Like es muy hermoso. Famous places. So there's this huge waterfall called Iguazu Waterfall, which is on the border, kind of here, around here, on the border between Brazil, Argentina, and Paraguay. And it's huge. Look at that picture. Huge, one waterfall, right? Increíble, incredible. Then there's Asuncion, which is the capital city, right there in the middle, you can see. And there's Jesuit ruins. These are ruins that were left by religious people who visited the country and stayed there for a while. And these are their old buildings that they used to live and work in. Famous food and drink. Delicioso, otra vez, delicious. Again, chipa. This is what we've seen already. These little cheesy breads. Muy, 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 muy rico. Delicioso, delicioso. There's a thing here called beiju, beiju. Now that word probably doesn't sound very Spanish, does it, compared to all the other words that we've learned for these things? And that's because, as we'll learn in a minute, we'll learn that in a minute. Beiju, right? Then they have tereré, which is like a tea, loads of leaves and herbs, but it's cold and there's a straw inside and it's got little things at the bottom so you don't slurp up all the leaves from the drink. So that cup there, this one here, full of the leaves for the drink, the tea, like tea leaves, right? And you slurp and there's little holes so that you don't swallow up all the leaves. Increíble, incredible. Now, I said those words looked a bit different, right? And that's because one thing that Paraguay is famous for is there's another language spoken in Paraguay called Guarani. And Guarani is something that people might think of when they think of Paraguay. Another thing is Nyanduti lace. So Paraguay is very, very famous for the lace that they make. So this first picture here, where you can see all these beautiful, beautiful patterns, that's called Nyanduti, named after like spider's web. The lace looks like a spider's web, right? The pictures and the designs. And very famous music with harps and lots of lovely, very sounding songs that make you want to do this. Es hermoso, es hermoso. Muy bien. So that is just 3 places, and we've gone over again because I love talking about this stuff, because Spanish is such a big language spoken in many, many different places. We've just talked about 3. There's loads more. Por ejemplo, Cuba, Peru, Cuba and Peru, many, many, many different places. And again, that's just 2 more. So many other places to explore. So what I want you to do today, I want you to pick a country that speaks Spanish. So go away, Google Spanish speaking countries, find one, learn more about it. And then when you're ready, write a postcard imagining that you're visiting. So if you're visiting that place, where are you going to go? What are you going to eat? What are you going to see and experience? And write a postcard imagining that you're there and send it back to your family. Okay, so learning more about the Spanish speaking world is your task for today, to show me that you've done, that you're learning more. Okay, let me stop sharing my screen and come back so you can see me. All right, so eso es todo por español. That's everything for Spanish. We finished our 4 Spanish lessons. Tomorrow we'll be learning about Korean, which is a whole different language spoken in a whole different place, and we're going to learn something very, very cool tomorrow. So come back for tomorrow's lesson, Friday the 3rd of April, same time, 10 a.m. UK time, and I will see you then. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day. Enjoy learning about the Spanish speaking world. Bye.